Restrictions. Bans. Are changes overdue for the Digimon's card game restriction and choice restriction list? With a handful of events having happened for BT16, the winner always seems to be trending with Numemon, Yellow Vaccine, and Magnamon X. While choice restriction won't be touched due to Galaxy Loop legitimately being an infinite loop, what are some possible restrictions that we could see? With 2 weeks before EX6, it is possible that Bandai drops a new list to provide their newest product some live energy. Keep in mind, a lot of what this video discusses is purely speculation. You may agree, you may disagree, but above all, keep it civil in the discussion. Numemon is the first archetype that I largely want to go over because the deck is topping consistently. It has largely the power to float into additional attacks, and at times have an answer to every board state. Digimon can't be deleted or bounced? No problem. I'll just DP reduce it. Digimon can't be reduced? No problem. I'll just force it to attack and blast Digivolve. Digimon is immune? No problem. Build wide and hit fast. There are 3 specific cards that come to mind when it comes to bringing down the power of this deck. And again, huge credit to Huang0 for leading the charge in the Digimon card game online for the fact that this is an excellent way to test potential restrictions with the deck, without having to sleeve up multiple versions to do so. I conducted test games, and even with one variant of the list having only one Numemon X, and another variant having only one Munzemon X, I could still do a lot of board shenanigans to control my opponent's board. Starting with Munzemon X, some players may view this card as unfair, due to the fact that I can spawn a Numemon or a level 3 Digimon without paying the cost if I have X Antibody, or Munzemon in the Digivolution sources. Then whenever one of your other Digimon is played, one of your opponent's Digimon gets minus 2000 DP for each Digimon you control. Very strong considering some of the Numemon cards can play themselves back out on your opponent's turn, triggering this effect. Numemon X was the other contender for the fact that this Digimon can Digivolve on any Numemon, including Garurumon, and can recycle itself even if it's deleted, or the stack is deleted. With so much free-floating ability, whether it's yours or your opponent's turn, this makes it significantly stronger when comparing it to the likes of even BT14 Gomamon. The surprising factor during testing was, it honestly didn't matter if either of these cards was restricted to 1, because the big thing that always saved the deck was ukkomon. Promo or BT16, it didn't matter. With BT16 being the most recent, honestly I think BT16 ukkomon is balanced for the fact that though it's a rainbow Digivolution, the Digivolution cost is still 1. But promo ukkomon on the other hand, I think this card should honestly go to 1 with the next restriction list. Combine this with Numemon X and I think this pulls back on Numemon's power substantially and just enough. One reason why I think Numemon X will ultimately be one of the restrictions is due to the fact that when it comes to X Antibody related Digimon, the level 4s are typically the culprit. Greymon X? 1. Garurumon X? 1. While not one of the poster child Digimon partners, you have to admit, Numemon X has definitely made a name for itself. While I've brought down the power of Numemon, what are some other restrictions you feel aren't balanced? In the face of Yellow Vaccine and Magnamon X, personally I think if Numemon is going to get the knife, some other decks can also get the knife too. In regards to Yellow Vaccine, the question comes down to which card will possibly get the hit. BT14 Patamon? Emissary of Hope? BT14 TK Takashi? All in all, I feel BT14 Patamon and TK Takashi from BT1 and BT14 are balanced in their own way. Because you have multiple ways to glean your security, Patamon into TK turn 1 is an excellent way to set up for that level 4 play. Emissary of Hope anytime after is where it becomes a problem. Some people think Emissary of Hope is a balanced card, but in some ways, I see it very similar to Hidden Potential Discovered. Though this option card does cost 1, its ability to Digivolve into any Yellow Vaccine trait Digimon in the security that's level 6 or lower can be huge. Frankly, with so many cards in yellow, you can always check your security or personally manipulate the stack itself to have exactly what you want in it. Hidden Potential Discovered on the other hand operates fundamentally the same, but requires a body on board and the Digimon Digivolving to be green. The thing is, Emissary of Hope also has an additional advantage of playing Patamon from hand or trash without paying cost, before adding this card to your hand. And lastly, the card that a lot of people wanted to restrict from the get-go was Magnamon X. The problem is, in the current meta it hasn't had any opportunity to do any real damage for the fact that Numemon outpaces it by swarming the board. There's a saying that 73.6% of all statistics are made up, and I'll tell you right now that I think the chance of Magnamon X getting restricted is probably 2%. It's so low that banning it is at 0% chance. Emissary of Hope probably has a 23% chance. It's possible, but it's low. I realistically don't see it happening, and again, a 0% chance of being banned. Frankly, no card has bannable potential at this point due to the fact that nothing creates egregious board states like ukkomon. But when it comes to Munzemon X and Numemon X, both of these cards in my mind have a much higher chance, like a 67% chance of one of these cards happening. Will it be both? Honestly, I can't see it happening. I think one will definitely help, but both would be overkill. And lastly, promo Ukkomon. In my mind, this card has the highest potential of being limited to 1. And though my previous videos may have talked about how it would affect decks like Big Ukkomon, let's be real. This deck hasn't seen any blips in the competitive scene, and is largely rogue or ignored. What are you really missing out here? What cards do you think will get restricted or banned? And do you disagree or agree with some of the points I made in today's video? Let me know your thoughts, because I've got more topics that have been on my mind with the Digimon card game. This is DIGI-PANDA, logging out.